What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Professor Anime coming back at you with yet again another Tales of Zestiria, the X 2017 version. Today we'll be reviewing episode 2 of the 2017 version. Now, okay, I'm a little conflicted when it comes to this episode, because some of the things I had questions for. Okay, so first let's begin with the opening. I actually forgot to mention in my previous review that Velvet actually makes an appearance in the opening. And if you remember in Tales of Zestiria the X, we actually saw Velvet in like 2 episodes of Tales. And we get to learn a little bit about her and who the person she is, but not too much. And really her sort of, plot point didn't really have an impact on the main storyline with Saray and everything. They were mainly just using Velvet as, I think, maybe a promotional use for, the game that's coming out, or that is already out in Japan, Tales of Zestiria. So, when it comes down to if she will be in the plot of, this main series of Tales of Zestiria, is kind of most likely we will end up seeing her yet again. As to how many episodes we will see her in, this season of Tales of Zestiria, I don't really know. But if you remember, in the previous episode or whatever, I think, she ended up going into this sort of dimension, and maybe she is going to make an appearance in the world or dimension in which Saray and his friends are at. I can't really recall if that was the case. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most likely we will see Velvet in this season of Tales of Zestiria nonetheless. Okay, so now I got that out of the way, so let's actually talk about this episode. Now, this episode, it was alright. It was mainly showing more of the political side of the series, I believe, and it was kind of like build up to, the future events that are going to play out in the series. Now, we see, in the previous episode, we saw by the end that Rose actually kills the bishop. And in this episode, we have it to where there are many suspicions as to, how everything went down. How did the bishop, end up, being killed off? Some are spreading rumors that, it was an assassination attempt, or it was even, a illness that the bishop suffered. Now, we know that Rose ended up killing the bishop in, the last episode. Now, the only thing that I have question for is during that scene where we see Rose and Saray interacting with each other and having breakfast with one another, she cannot see Lila, Mikleo, and Edna, okay? The fellow seraph that Saray has with him. However, in this episode, really quick, I wanted to touch upon this. Later down the line, we actually see that she can see Denzil. Now, I don't really recall actually getting clarification as to why she can, see Denzil. I don't really remember that. Maybe it was actually revealed in the later parts of, Season 1 or the 2016 version of Tales of Zestiria. But I'm kind of conflicted as to, how that went about. I really don't recall that as to how, she can see, Denzil, but she can't see the other seraphim. That completely bewilders me, because I remember in the game that when Denzil and Rose end up first meeting, we know that Denzil is actually using Rose's body as kind of like this subcontractor or whatever, and beforehand, actually, Lila actually makes a squire's pact with Rose, and Denzil becomes Lila's sublord. Yeah. Also, when it comes to Rose in this episode, it seems that she is actually questioning her ideology, of the scattered bones, as, they are killing for the greater good. But at the same time, Rose is conflicted about this whole killing method that is going on, because she sees, people actually suffering from, people actually being killed off, whether they have families or whatever. But at the same time, she knows that the scattered bones are killing for the greater good, but nonetheless, it is still killing and it is hurting other people, which makes it, very conflicting on her as to what she is doing entirely. And then by the end of this episode, we see that Denzil actually makes an appearance to Rose and basically make this sort of pact with one another, saying that I will assist you when it comes to killing. And then we see him jump on over to the capital, or the church of Listalum. I think that is the name of the town they are currently at. And he's causing this, big storm because he is a seraphim that has the power of wind. And yeah, you can just see in his eyes and his curiosity that he wants to take down this chapel, or, this capital. It's quite insane. So as to, Denzil's past, we really don't know too much about him. Because we've only seen him in a few episodes of the anime series of the 2016 version of Tales of Zestiria, but we haven't really gotten any concrete introduction to his character and, what happened to his past and why he almost has the same, way of thinking as Rose does. He, wants to kill people, but for what reason? Also, another plot point that I think is worth mentioning, we see Mikleo and Saray go down into this cavern. Apparently, this fissure in the ground ended up appearing, and we have Saray, Mikleo, and one of the upper knights. I really forget his name. I think it was Sergio, Mikleo, and Saray actually go down into this cavern and purify the water that's inhabited by malevolence. And they make their way down, all the way down to the end of the tunnel, and they see that it is guarded by these other individuals. And they say that, I'm sorry, sir, we cannot let you in further down the line. So you see some shady shit is actually going down within the end of those caverns. As to what they are hiding, we are not exactly sure. But then we see by the halfway point of the end of the episode that when Mikleo, Saray, and Sergio actually make their way out of the cavern, we see that apparently he is, or they are being withheld by Gouldman. And it seems like he is stopping Mikleo, Saray, and Sergio from ending up going further down in the sanctuary. He says, what business do you have down in that cavern? What business do you have with going down into the sanctuary? Sergio is like, I have nothing to say to you, bro. But it definitely seems as though Gouldman is trying to stop them from learning the secrets within the sanctuary as to what is going down there. As to why he is doing this and, the so-called reveal of what's down in that sanctuary, we don't exactly know at this point. But definitely we can see the political corruption end up going down within this city. Oh, and also I almost forgot to mention the ending theme song that was revealed in this episode of Tales of Zestiria. So the ending. Sometimes with anime openings, they tend to, be more slower paced as opposed to the endings, and that is exactly what we see in, this season of Tales of Zestiria. I think, personally, that the opening, while quite good, it's more somber and more calm compared to the ending theme song. And the ending theme song is actually done by Flo. Flow should be the opening song, because there's more scenes in which, the characters are moving about, having action to their character, so to speak, and in the opening, we just see many of the characters, being shown who are revealed in the series, and kind of just, chilling, so to speak. So, yeah, in my personal opinion, I think the opening, I think the opening should, be the ending, and the ending should be the opening. And with that, I think that about does it for this review. I think I went over all the main plot points that was in this episode of Tales of Zestiria, the X, or the Cross. So, Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you guys thought about this episode. What did you think about my review? How can I make my reviews better? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It definitely helps out the channel. And if you're new and want to see more manga or anime from me, hit that red subscribe button down below, and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, everyone. And thank you all for watching. I will catch you all in the next one.